butcher this. Welcome, amazing agents and investors nationwide. I don't know what else Jim says to open these, but this is podcast and All the Leads Mastermind number 417. As you guys can see today, we were without our two fearless owners. Jim and Tim are both out today. So you guys have me and Chuck, and neither one of us have paid close enough attention to memorize Jim's opening. But guys, I want to thank everyone that's watching live and here live. So if you are watching on one of our streaming devices, streaming services, YouTube or Facebook, it's live. So you can chat your questions underneath of the stream. Those will come to Coach Chuck and myself, and we'll help answer your questions. If you're here on the Mastermind Live and you have a question or a win or a comment, something that you'd like to share, go down to the reactions button at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a reactions button and click on raise hand. We will call on you, ask you to unmute yourself. This call is for you guys. So it's not much of a call if you don't ask questions. It could be probate related, business related, structuring real estate deals. If you've had successes and wins, we want to hear from you. I know that there's a bunch of people that have closed deals. We want to hear about those. If you have a win and you want to share it, you will be up for winner of the week. So every week we pick whoever has the best success story of the week and provide a discount on the next month of leads if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, we want to work with you guys. So if you're not a subscriber, jump over on alltheleads.com and check your county out. That'll be able to get you some information on how many leads come in to your county on an average month and how much the county cost is. Beyond just, we do a lot more than just leads, though. We kind of teach you an entire system to be able to work the probate niche as a business model. So Chuck, you got anything to share?
Well, I mean, I have a small win for myself. I did join my local county estate planning council, and we had our Q1 meeting on, I guess it was last Thursday. Had somebody come up from the Philadelphia Federal Reserve to give the cautiously optimistic economic forecast. I think one of the guys I met there was talking about. He's like, you watch, they're going to use the buzzwords cautiously optimistic. They only used it 4 times, right? So it was very interesting data to be able to get that information. But the contacts I made, the room is filled with wealth managers, trust officers, estate planning attorneys, as well as certified financial planners. And I walked out of there with 4 scheduled meetings to meet with those types of professionals, because when I described to them how we help people settle estates easier than doing it alone, and they asked me, well, tell me more. And, I joined as the only person in the room that helps people with the physical aspects of dealing with an estate. They're all the money and the paper guys. So they need a resource like us that has an all-in-one solution to be able to help those folks deal with the belongings and the real estate for inherited estate type situations. So super great win for me. It's definitely something that I think everybody should be working towards, is building out those relationships. Bruce, you and I have talked about, and I do a lot of the orientations for new subscribers, kind of get people pointed in the right direction, give you an overview of what the baseline is going to be. And I use my analogy of the 3-legged stool, right? We need to at least get some marketing campaigns in place. We recommend, and for me, every marketing campaign is, the desired result is have a conversation with our ideal prospect. So how do we do that? We're either going to initiate that conversation directly by picking up the phone and calling them with the information that ATL provides you, or we're going to send them direct mail. ATL can fulfill those direct mail campaigns on autopilot for you, So hopefully we can inspire them to pick up the phone and call us. And the third leg then is set up a digital presence. We also in our marketing department have the ability to get you a website up a heck of a lot faster and a whole lot cheaper than if you were to go ahead and hire a web designer to create one from scratch. So those are the three legs. But if I get a little bit deep into a bottle of wine, it's always nice to have that fourth leg of the stool, and have it be nice and stable. So that's where the relationships with the industry professionals, I call it, your estate settlement industry or your senior care industry type folks, they run in a very cooperative circle, and it's a small network. So once you're able to break into that network and build those relationships, man, it really accentuates the lead data that you get from us here at ATL to go and really build a significant business out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You want business coming to you. You need to add some of those professional relationships in. Mail does bring business into you. Your website will bring business into you. Other than that, you are outbound prospecting, and we all need to do that. But you want some of the easy business coming as well. Go build those relationships Chuck was just talking about. And I don't know many people that do it better than Chuck. I can see a couple of people that do it probably as good as Chuck on this call, but that's definitely something that you guys want to pursue if you're not doing that. Awesome. Well, again, guys, if you have questions or you have successes that you'd like to share, want you to raise your hand. We've got one hand up. If you're watching on a streaming service, chat your question in, and that'll come to me and Chuck, and we'll be able to answer those questions. But let's go to Douglas first. Douglas, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say something. I've taken the prospecting class twice, and Bruce said to me about 2 weeks ago, Douglas, all you got to do is get started. Your only issue is getting up, sitting down, picking up the phone and making calls. Well, yesterday I did it, and I can't tell you, my business is just exploding. Bruce, those scripts are magic. The concierge program that offers solutions for families going through probate, that works like magic. And I'm going to see a $2 million home in Bellevue, and I'm working with the woman who has an apartment building and probably the nicest fixer I've ever seen in Southeast Bellevue on a 30,000 square foot lot that can be subdivided by 3 times with new construction, a gorgeous new construction in a gated community across the street. And another woman I'm working with that I've been working on for 6 months, and I've developed the relationship. She was cold as can be in the beginning. Now she sends me pictures of her family and what they're doing on weekends. And she has a property that can be subdivided into 100 and built 160 townhomes. And this is off very little effort. And you guys, I'm just getting started, but I'm just endorsing what you teach. It's just amazing.
Awesome,
I mean, if I do this every day, there's just no question. And by the way, when I send them to the website, you guys make me look great. And a real estate coach of over 40 years took a look at the website and said, your website is amazing. And just so
Douglas, you said something a second ago. You said, if I do this every day, and I can't remember, I used like the results are going to be amazing, or there's no question. So I want you to change that. So next time you chime in, I want you to say the same thing that you just said, with one word missing, and that's going to be the word if. So next time you come back, I want you to say, I do this every day and the results are amazing. All right. And leave the if, because it works. Now it's just a matter of getting up and doing it. And you're doing it.
Yesterday was the most fun I've had. I love real estate again.
Yeah.
I do.
That's cool. There's something to be said for that. Something to be said for
I mean,
that.
and you're saying that in a market when a lot of folks are saying, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Real estate isn't working. There's nothing to do out there. Nobody wants to sell their house. Nobody, interest rates are 6.88%. Nobody's going to buy, even if we did. And oh my goodness, what am I going to do instead? And yeah, it's go make real estate fun again.
Thank you. And one other question, Chuck, you mentioned something about a county estate planning group. What are they called? And do you think I could find them in my county?
Yes, and some counties, it's an estate planning council. Some counties do restrict membership to their local councils to folks that are in a very specific profession, right? So you may have to have a professional designation where you're in the financial services industry. I did come across that with one of our subscribers down in Southwest Washington. So you just need to, I think there's a National Association of Estate Planning Councils, like NAEPC. Go onto their site and see. You should be able to, they have a registry of all the different councils that are across the country, and you can find your local one and look up their membership requirements. It's a possibility, but in his particular example, down in the Vancouver area, it was he couldn't join as a member, but they had the entire directory with all the contact information for all the members there. And that's a good start. So that you can, somebody that's working to collaborate with other people and grow their business, they're going to have that same, interest to be able to speak with us who can help them shine better for their clients and help them serve their clients in a better way by helping them with the physical aspects of the estate.
Exactly. Thank you, Chuck. And by the way, when I say I'm prospecting, I'm not leaving out probate attorneys. And I will look this up. And the site you've given me, it is so elegant, and it just it's a powerful tool. And I'm really grateful. Thank you.
It's going to give you a bit of credibility, because especially someone who's a professional in the industry is going to want you to have a dedicated website that speaks to the needs and concerns of their clients, which would be the personal representative specifically for probate.
Yep.
Yes, and I had such a nice talk with the PR yesterday, and today I'm sending her a handwritten card. And on the card, because we have an appointment to meet next week, and in the card, I'm just going to, it's a handwritten card, and I'm going to just include my web address so she can prepare. I mean, it's just, like I said, real estate is fun again. So
awesome.
And also, I'm trying to put together a role play group, and I had mentioned meeting briefly on Monday, but I was very sick Monday and I didn't go to work. So I apologize to anybody who was expecting to hear from me.
And if anyone that wants to get in on that with that group of peers that's role playing that Douglas has so graciously put together, go to our Facebook page, not our Facebook page, our Facebook group. So it's All the Leads Mastermind. We do have a Facebook page. So if you guys go and like the Facebook page, which is All the Leads, it's not going to show you that. So join the All the Leads Mastermind group in Facebook. And there are some folks there chatting about doing role play. Now, those that are doing that are specifically using, and Alyssa just posted it in chat, those folks are specifically using the techniques that I teach in Prospecting Mastery, which is a once a month class. Lisa, you'd asked a minute ago what script he's referring to, and it's a 5 or 6 hour class. It's hard to unpack it in a couple of minutes, but let me just kind of give you guys the gist of what it covers so that you've got to have a good 10-15 second opening to your phone conversation, at which point you are actually looking for their resistance. So most people want to resist you. They don't know you. You're calling them out of the blue. They're going through a hard time. It's pretty normal that they're going to resist you. If you guys are expecting someone to like fall at your feet and worship you because you're offering help that they didn't know they needed, you're going to be surprised. Okay, so prepare for the resistance and actually embrace the resistance. They're pushing back on you a little bit for a reason, and that's your opportunity to build rapport by agreeing with them, not by disagreeing with them and pushing back, but by agreeing with them. You're going to build rapport. On the way off of the phone, you're going to pivot over to the real estate question. Okay, so I kind of do the Columbo approach. For those of you that know Columbo, we say, hey, I really appreciate the time. Let me know if you need anything. Hey, before I let you go, could I ask, are you guys holding on to the real estate? So we kind of put real estate into the mix toward the end of the call after we've proven to them that we're not going to disagree and fight with them over the resistance that they've given us. And so that's the general approach of the script. Okay, the conversation. All right. Getting a lot of feedback here. Chuck, is that you or do I have feedback from someone else?
It's probably me.
All right. Shape up. All right. Let's so I got a bunch of hands up. We're going to go to Dwayne first, Stephen after that, Carrie after that, and then I'm going to hit a couple of the questions that have been chatted in. Dwayne, if you would, go ahead and unmute yourself.
You hearing me okay?
We got you.
Okay. Doug there asked the question, one of the couple of comments or questions that I was going to, and then Chuck answered it very well with those ideas of looking for that. That's intriguing to me. Bruce, I'm not sure if the listing class that you taught yesterday is different, but I've been into a couple of them in the past with you, and yesterday's did seem different in how you were approaching it, the presentation and so forth. And I'm pretty dense on picking up on some of this stuff, but I can say that what I liked is there was a certain rhythm. There was a certain way you were covering things. Maybe you've made some adjustments. I don't know, but I appreciate the class.
Oh, there's always small adjustments.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Okay. I ran into some business problems this week. Nothing crazy, but enough to just kind of put me in a bad mood for a day or two. Okay. And I started thinking about it. I was driving last night and this just kind of popped in my head. And I know we've got people from all different walks of life, all different beliefs here. And so anytime I use an analogy like I'm about to use, I have to make sure that everyone knows that I am not making any belief claims here. Okay. But the idea behind evolution, physical evolution in the world, is that when environmental challenges happen, only the beings, the creatures that adapt survive. The creatures that do not adapt, that set their feet in stone and say, I'm going to weather this environmental pressure, they don't survive. And the same thing is true of our businesses. We are facing all kinds of environmental pressures in our business, and you have to be willing to adapt. So Dwayne just brought up the class that I taught yesterday, which was listing success. I do it every 3 months. Join the next one if you haven't done it. And I've adapted that class. And it's because there are constant changes and pressure on the market. There are constant changes and pressure on agents and investors. And you have competition that comes up and they offer something crazy. Like right now in my market and a lot of your markets, we have Open Door that's out there buying houses in some cases for above market value. And they're losing lots and lots of money, but they don't care. They have a mission to disrupt and change the industry. And that's their prerogative. Instead of griping about it and planting your feet in stone and saying, I'm not changing, you have to be able to change. And those who change come out with better businesses, more profit in the long run. So you have to be willing to change. So when these environmental pressures, the market shifts, people lose value, buyers aren't interested in buying, sellers aren't interested in listing, people are turning their nose up at the offers that you're making. When those things happen, don't stay stoic, change, adjust. Pressure is a very good thing for your business if you're willing to adjust and evolve to fit the pressure. Okay. So sorry, Dwayne, that was a bit of a monologue and a rant, but
That's
go
fine.
ahead.
Yeah, I understand that. I have a listing in Martinsburg that got an offer on it, and then the next major thing that happened is the appraisal came in significantly lower, and for no good reason. Of course, that started off where y'all can pretty much guess where that goes with the seller and everybody else jumping up and down and getting in the drum. So through that, I'm thinking, why is I'm allowing this to disturb me? Well, it's because I don't have other business that I should be focusing on. And why is that? Well, I appreciate what Doug said. It's encouraging. I've been living in the hesitation room way too long. I admit that. And I've allowed these webinars to become entertainment rather than educational at times. So I'll stop now. There's other things for people to say. Appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate it. Very, very much, Dwayne. All right. Let's go to Stephen. Stephen, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hey.
So I got my first set of leads a couple days ago. I have pre-probate, and I actually started making the calls for the first time yesterday. And one of the people I got a hold of was very cooperative, but I don't know if I handled it correctly. So basically, I offered the concierge service, and he said, okay, well, I need to talk to my siblings and I can give you a call back tomorrow. So how would you have handled it with that response? What should I have said? I just said, okay, great. I look forward to hearing from you tomorrow. And then I marked him as a hot lead. So if I don't hear from him, of course, I'll call him back today. But how should I have continued with that?
Well, you want to, with everything that you do, every response that they give, validate and do what Chris Voss calls labeling, I call reframing. So everything, whether it's good or bad. Hey, I don't need anything. Hey, I completely get it. It sounds like you weren't looking for help today. That's an example of how you would reframe an objection. You can do the same thing with a positive response. Hey, I'm definitely interested. I got to talk to my siblings. I'll call you back today. Hey, I completely understand. It sounds like you guys need to have a chat before you make any decisions. Okay, get their agreement. Make them feel that they're completely understood. This is just active listening. Okay. Look, I know you guys are going to give me a call back tomorrow. Do you mind if I ask you a quick question about the property? Okay. And then just shift. So agree with them, get on the same side, make sure that you guys kind of have really common footing, and then shift the topic to something else. And so if you have not talked about real estate at this point, that's a great place and a great time to shift over to the real estate. So at this point, I think you just talked about the concierge service. I think I may be wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
I mentioned the concierge service, which included the real estate as the last aspect of it. Yep. I did ask if there's a house involved, and he said yes.
Okay, outstanding. So this is where you probably, you validate them, you kind of heap on the understanding and the praise, going to give me a call back tomorrow, all that. Just before I let you go, because I know you probably need to go run, talk to them. Could I ask, is the real estate something that you guys are going to be looking to sell in the distant future, or is that coming up soon? So I'm just going to shift. Use that as an opportunity to shift to a slightly different topic, even if you already addressed it with your pitch. I want to shift to a different topic by asking a question. Okay. So
but should I have gone in for the appointment or?
You could have. I wouldn't go to the appointment until I'd asked that question. So, hey, I completely understand. It sounds like you guys have a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, he says, yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect. I will listen for your call tomorrow, Stephen. Definitely make sure you give me a call. Can I send you a text with a couple of the details of what I do so you guys know what to talk about? Yes.
Right.
Okay. I'll send that to you in a minute. And before I let you go, let me ask, the house, was that something that you guys were thinking about holding for a little while, like several months, or is that pretty urgent that you guys eventually get that sold? That's kind of urgent. Do you think you guys would be open to an offer if I brought you one? Okay. And now you're just sort of diving a little bit deeper
Yeah.
by completely embracing that response that they gave you, because his response was positive, but it was also a put off. It was both.
Right.
It was both. You want to embrace their response, good, bad, neutral, embrace it. And then off of your embracing of that response, then shift over to a different question. And you don't
Okay.
want to do that too many times. You don't want to take that really deep. They resist you in one area. You don't shift to another question, get resistant, shift, get resistant, shift. You really only do that a couple of times. But the last thing you really need to get to is what they're wanting to do with the house. That's like the ultimate thing that you want to get to. So I would always try to get that question in. If they haven't hung up on me, I want to get that in with at least my last question.
Okay. That's
Okay?
very helpful. I did text him my business card when we hung up.
Good.
So
Outstanding. Okay. Perfect.
I got a hold of another person, and basically I asked her if there's anything I could take off her plate. And her response was, there's nothing on my plate to do.
Yep.
That's what she said. And so I didn't reaffirm it. I should have said, oh, I understand that there's nothing on your plate to do. I didn't say anything like that. I just said, oh, okay. I just thought, well, I guess maybe the estate has no value or something. I don't know. But she
Probably
said
an attorney dealing with it, most likely.
Yeah.
Or she hasn't run into issues yet, but she will. One of the two. So yeah.
So how would you, besides like reaffirming, I understand that you don't have anything to take off your plate or something like that.
And
That's
Bruce,
great. But then
Bruce,
where would you have gone from there?
Somebody's
Bruce, I want you to be thinking that Stephen's working with pre-probate leads, right?
Yep.
Right.
So
These
also-
are pre-probate.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I am so glad to hear that you've got things covered at this point. Do you mind if I ask, once you get a little further along, are you guys going to end up going into probate?
Okay.
Okay. So there's your pivot, your shift. So you affirm, you validate them, affirm them, and then you pivot over to, are you going to go through probate or do you get to avoid probate? That kind of question. Okay.
So if she says we don't have to do probate, then what?
Okay. Outstanding. I really appreciate it. Do you mind if I send you maybe some basic information on what we do? That way, if something comes up in the future, you can give me a call. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Would it be better for me to email that to you or send you a letter?
You can just email it to me.
Email it? Okay, what's your best email?
Okay,
perfect. All right, Stephen, I really appreciate the time today. Just before I let you go, I'm assuming that there probably wasn't a house involved that you guys needed to sell if you're not going through probate, or was there real estate involved that needs to be sold?
There is real estate.
Okay. So I guess that doesn't need to go through probate. That's perfectly normal. Is that coming up soon? Are you going to need to sell that soon, or is that still a ways off?
Within the next couple months.
Couple of months. Hey, listen, I know you really aren't dealing with that right now. But when you do you think you'd be open to seeing what kind of price I could get you?
Okay.
Yeah. So all I would really need to do that is maybe swing out sometime in the next week or two and take a quick glance at it. Is anyone going to be around maybe over the weekend next week or sometime a week or so later to show me the house?
Yes.
Yeah. What works better for you, weekend or week?
Weekend.
Weekend? You want to say maybe Saturday or Sunday this week?
Saturday's good.
Saturday? Okay, perfect. I could do like 2:00, or do you think maybe 10 would work better?
Let's do 10.
10? Great. All right. I'm going to go ahead and send you the email just so you see what I do. And then all I need to do when we meet over there is just take a look. I'll be able to show you what kind of price I can get you. If it works for you guys, we can work together on your schedule. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. Look forward to meeting you Saturday.
Okay. That was great, Bruce.
All right.
I realize I completely botched that one now. But anyway, but now I know what to do.
Botching things is how you learn.
Yeah.
Botching things is how you learn. Always remember, heap on the validation. You're never going to disagree with someone. And I think you're already doing good at that.
Okay, great.
But
Thanks.
always remember that you can pivot to a different question once you've validated them.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, for sure. All right. Thanks, Stephen. Anything else? You're on mute. I think you're good. If you do have anything else, go ahead and unmute yourself. I've got some.
Well, the only thing I
questions.
wanted to say is, and this is a little bit inappropriate, but one of the numbers, but it's funny. One of the numbers I called, the woman acted like she was a housekeeper at a hotel. She asked me if I needed clean towels. I said no. And then she said, do you need clean sheets? And I said no. And then literally the next question she asked me was, do you want a hand job? I swear to God, this happened on one of my calls yesterday.
Wow. I've never heard that one before.
What?
I think that was a Tommy Boy reference and a prank receiver of your call.
Right.
That was a Tommy Boy
she was
reference.
Pranking. Yeah, she was definitely pranking me, but I couldn't believe it. But anyway.
Hey,
No,
those things make for the best stories, though. If you can roll with it, they make for the best stories.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Stephen. All right. Carrie, what is up? Go ahead and unmute yourself. And then I've got some chatty questions. We'll get to you guys in a sec.
Perfect. So pretty new to the group. Thank you so much for letting me in and getting a better understanding of how you guys are working things. So I look at some of the pre-probate, pre-foreclosure properties, I guess pre-foreclosure properties in my county. Some of them I found, and then I have a hard time tracking down the folks. I do a little skip tracing, but to find the PR, should I be going to the courthouse and looking up the court documents to get a better understanding of who the PR might be?
Gotcha. A couple of ways you can do it. So the first way that I will encourage you to do, because it's our business, is we can just give you the list. So you can buy it from us. We'll give you the PR and the heirs that should be involved in that estate. And that goes for pre-probate and probate. If you're on a really tight budget, you can go to the courthouse, depending on the county that you're in. Some make you pay a fee. Some don't let you in at all. Most that is public data, though. So you should be able, if you have the time and the energy and the know-how to get into the courthouse and pull those records, you should be able to do it. So that works best for those that are maybe on a budget or want to go learn the process. However, Carrie, I'd love to help you get the leads. With that said, it's public record, so you are able to do that. A lot of people find that it's just a bit of a pain in the butt to go to the courthouse frequently and pull those leads and do the skip tracing. But if that's if that's not too tough for you, go for it.
No, that can be challenging. I like your idea of just buying the leads.
Yeah.
Last question. I did work with a probate attorney. Apparently, he was the largest probate attorney in Oregon. Do you know why some probates would go to one attorney's or one attorney office more than another, at least in the state of Oregon, or is that too specific maybe?
No, a lot of reasons. Marketing would be one. Word of mouth would be another. Once someone has built up a really good brand, same thing that you're shooting for. Once you build up a really good brand, that word of mouth really just gets out there and people know you as the probate guy. It's just the same thing with attorneys. They just get really well known. They've got a big, broad network. They're networked with a lot of financial planners that refer clients to them. They're networked with a lot of agents that refer clients there. They've just done a good job of building that up. Now, an attorney is not allowed to outbound prospect or market to someone that is going through probate. So they can't do a direct outreach to that person like we can. So pretty much anytime one attorney's gathering a lot of the market share, it's because they've done a better job than others of networking and establishing a name brand.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure, Carrie. Thanks, man. All right, Michelle, we'll come to you in just a second. I've got a few questions that have been chatted in. Let's do this. I'm going to go to John first. Oh, wow. You threw a doozy at us. How does AI fit into this niche, or does it fit? Chuck, do you have any insight on AI? You're smiling.
I am smiling because I have explored some of the depths of ChatGPT and asked some questions about what are the main obstacles that a personal representative may face in probate. Can you write me a 7-page or a 700-word blog post on, so from a content perspective and content marketing, and maybe if you're looking to develop a lead magnet or an ebook or those types of things. My goodness, AI yourself away. I mean, it makes it work. I mean, that's the best use that I've explored so far. But AI, from a standpoint of evaluating the leads and the lead information, I don't know that that's necessary. I don't know of a specific way. But then there's and AI can be this huge umbrella. Right. I mean, there's AI that can help with, video production, for script writing, with photography and those types of things. So from graphic design to creative writing or content marketing, those types of things. Absolutely.
You went on mute, Chuck.
About probate.
You went on mute.
Yep, I had a phone call coming in since I'm mobile today, so I was like, oh, sorry, decline, mom.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT knows a lot about probate and the process and what struggles a personal representative would be going through. So yeah, absolutely. Find the right questions to ask. Leverage. We have a great page for FAQ and glossary on our template sites that you can order from us, and you can have a lot of that content and leverage that content, relate it back to your website. I mean, there's a lot of different paths. I'd be curious, which direction you're leaning towards, hoping to leverage AI to get you and grow in your business. So Chris, I don't know if you're a subscriber or not, but if you are, definitely schedule a monthly strategy coaching call. Be happy to wrap with you about it.
And that was John. So John schedule a monthly coaching call with Chuck. And I'm going to add on there. You could also use AI and plug it into websites and blogs and have it field some of those questions as well. I think there's a little bit of setup that's involved. And I don't have one, but I know that you can have AI handle chat for you as well if somebody lands on your website or a blog or something like that. So Chuck was referring to exactly the way I would handle it to start is use it to help you write content, because content is king. You get content out there and all those people that follow you casually and they know who you are, but you have no idea that they're even watching you. No idea. They're the people that 8 months in, they pull a stack of your letters out and call you and you thought that they were dead in the water. Those are the people that are watching you. So you want good content that lives out there. You want reviews, you want blogs, videos, websites, things like that. And I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed if you're going, I can't come up with all this. Don't get overwhelmed. Start small, but put content out there, and you can use AI on those things as well.
I mean, another thought. I was on a coaching call last evening with some of our West Coast subscribers, and they were looking for some ideas on how they can be a little bit more creative in their direct mail, and stories sell. And that's a real strong belief that I have. I mean, you could even leverage AI if you don't have a lot of experience doing probate deals. Tell me a story about a personal representative that had a really tough time settling an estate, and it see what it comes back with. It's a playground at this point in time. And if it sounds good, you can leverage that. So use the AI to do some extra thinking while we're working on production, right?
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. All right. So we've got a few other questions that have been chatted in. And Alyssa, please scan, or someone scan, and make sure I'm not missing any of the questions that may have been dropped into chat. But Pearl, you said that you were new and you haven't even gotten your first list. So aside from spending an hour a day learning, what else can you do? That's a great first step. So many people spend 10 hours a day learning and no time doing, or they spend no time learning and they don't have a structure. So I love the idea of spending an hour a day learning. An hour a day is not too much time. You should be doing that in your day-to-day life anyway. An hour learning something new every day is powerful, and it compounds, and you end up being a genius at some point because you've learned something every day, and most of us don't. So that's a good thing to do. The next thing that you're going to want to do, if you have not already done it, is jump into Probate Foundations, first Wednesday of every month. That's a free class for really anyone, whether you get all the leads or not. That's a free class. It's a couple hours long, and it goes over all those foundational elements. So jump into that. You're going to want to start drafting your letters, your mailing content. So go ahead, even if you're not going to put mailing content into play right away, at least start getting some drafts together so that you don't end up chasing your tail when it is time to kick some mailers out. I normally stay 5 or 6 letters ahead. So at any given point, I have 5 or 6 letters and maybe a couple of postcards that I'm not even using. And they're just there that I'm just casually working on, kind of building up my quiver so that I can put those into play with marketing. So do that. Take what you are learning and learn it in order to educate. That's big. If you learn something, you want to be able to teach it. So outline it out and maybe practice teaching it, or learn something new and go sit in front of your webcam and record a video that you can put onto YouTube teaching it. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's you teaching it is going to make you better. It's going to help it sink in. Okay. Prepare for some phone calls and some marketing. Chuck has something to say too.
I do. I think one of the, especially if you're newer to the probate process, specifically to your local market, I highly suggest that if you have a probate attorney, or you use the hashtag Ask Facebook approach, you ask somebody for a recommendation for a probate attorney that they've worked with in the past and have a good relationship with, and get a warm introduction, that would be fantastic. Or at the very least, find one of the larger size attorney firms that handle probate in your market and hire them for an hour consult and sit down and ask them specific questions about how does it really work in your local market? How do the judges handle the cases? What are some of the biggest struggles that personal representatives are facing in their experience? So that way you can lean into the ego of the attorney and ask them to impart onto you their knowledge, right? And help and pay them because you value their time and energy, if that's the case, if you don't have the relationship established. But that can be a very good getting your foundation in place before you start having extensive conversations with prospects on the phone, because you will feel more confident. A lot of people, and I know what Bruce is going to say, he's going to say, but you don't need to know the insides and outs. You don't need to be an expert on probate to do this business, for which I agree, but you also need to understand how to navigate the map of what your local market and your local courthouse, how they operate, so you can be that much more proficient in your conversations, and it will roll off your tongue so much easier when you're having conversations with folks that need your help.
You know, there's an NLP saying that goes like this. It says, the map is not the territory. So what that means is you can look at a map and get a general idea of which way is north, south, east, and west without knowing where in the woods, the log has fallen down and might have some slippery moss on it. Okay, that's what you don't need to know. You don't need to know where the fallen trees are with slippery moss. You do need to know the map. So you need to have a good overview understanding of the basics of what someone's going to go through when they file probate. And that's as simple as a Google search and reading an attorney's blog in your state. So good stuff. Thanks, Chuck. Let's see who else. Thanks, Pearl, for the question. Let's go to Saul really quickly, and Michelle, coming to you next. So Saul had asked where he could find material to practice prior to attending a role play session. So role play sessions, the Prospecting Mastery class has 5 or 6 role plays built into it. If you're referring to that, I'll teach you guys exactly what you need to know in the class. So you are not role playing an entire call. You are role playing individual elements of your prospecting call. So you're role playing your opening, which is 15, 20 seconds for most people, 10 seconds if you're good and proficient at it. So you're just role playing that part and you're getting it down. And then you're role playing your USP, and eventually you pull it all together. So what I'm going to challenge you to do, Saul, is go out and write down a 10 or 15 second opening to your call. Just drill on it, drill on it alone. Put in, then go out and build out a 15 or 20 second USP or pitch presentation that comes after your opening, after a little bit of engagement and after your opening. Drill on that a little bit. Get those 2 things down where you can deliver your 10 to 15 second opening and your 20 second pitch, and you'll be just fine. The rest of the calls and conversation kind of flows fairly naturally. So write those things down and drill on them. Jump in Prospecting Mastery, and just know that there's a lot of other resources. So I think Alyssa had mentioned in a chat that we've got our YouTube channel that's loaded with good stuff. We haven't done live role play calls via Zoom or YouTube for a long time, but if you go on all the leads in YouTube and subscribe to that channel, there's playlists, and one of the playlists is role play playlist, and they're several years old. I believe that our approach has evolved since then a lot, but they're good places to go listen to calls. All right, excellent. Thanks, Saul. And let's go to Michelle here. Let's have you unmute yourself.
Hi, Bruce.
Hey.
Hey. So I have a lady who's going to start making the probate calls for me. And our question is, I've been practicing role playing with her, and she is good to go. She's going to be setting the appointments for us. So we're just not quite sure we've followed the scripts that you've given us, tweaked them a little bit, and she's really good practicing. We're just not quite sure when how the handoff should go to the person who's going to be actually making the appointment or going to the appointment.
Going to the appointment. So if she sets the appointment, she just says, hey, my partner, my team leader, my colleague, whoever that person is going to be the one that meets you. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit tied up on Saturday. Okay. So look for Michelle to come out to the house. She's our team leader, something like that. If they're not ready for the appointment, what she probably wants to do is try a phone handoff. Hey, while I got you, let me see if I can get Michelle on the phone really quickly. You have another quick second? So she's gotten some information, and then she says, hey, let me see if I can get Michelle on the phone for a quick minute. Do you have another minute or two? And then tries a phone handoff. That's a possibility. Otherwise, the majority of your leads, when you have someone that's doing your calls for you, the majority of your leads end up being warmer leads that fall short of an appointment. And that's what happens far more often. Even when I'm prospecting for myself, I end up warming that lead up and moving them a little further along in the pipeline, but they're not always an appointment. So recognize that 80% of those that come to you are going to be just a warmer version of what they were 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
And then some of them can be a phone handoff to you or the agent that's going to go on the appointment. And some of them are going to be an appointment where she just says, hey, I really appreciate the time today. It's actually going to be Michelle that comes out and meets you on Saturday. She's our team leader.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
I
Good.
would add to that as a suggestion, maybe, Michelle, because you won't have any of the rapport built up from that initial conversation, right?
Right.
Before you go out to that appointment, make a call to that person just to confirm. And that will give you the opportunity for them to hear your voice, but for you also to have that little bit of rapport building, get, okay, well, I'll be coming in a black Chevy pickup, I'll see you there. Are there any, specifics about the directions that I need to be aware of? You can take it from there, but lean into at least having some sliver of rapport building before you show up, so you're not cold, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Totally agree.
With our non-probate leads, that's generally what we do. What I do, or the other guy, is we call them and just say, just want to confirm this is, we just kind of confirm what the appointment setter has done. But for probate, I don't know. It's just a little bit of a different animal. I didn't know if we should handle it a little bit different, but it sounds like we'll be handling it about the same.
Yep.
And for the warm ones, we just ask. I think that generally, if they're warm but not ready for an appointment, we just say would it be okay if we just checked in with you in a few weeks? That's generally what you ask, right? Just make sure everything's still handled.
I never ask that. Because when you ask a yes, no question, there's two answers, and one of them is not something that we can really deal with. So if I know that the question I'm about to ask has a chance of killing the relationship, I'm not going to ask the question. So what I may do is say instead, hey, maybe I'll just follow up with you at some point in the future. Do you have a pen handy? You can take my name and number down.
Got it.
And now you're kind of avoiding giving them something that they can reject, because they say no, and then you call 2 weeks later. If they remember that, what are you calling for? I told you not to call me again. And I just don't want to run into a situation like that. So I'll normally tell them that I'm going to follow up, or maybe I'll just follow up at some point in the future. And I don't put a time frame on it because I don't want them to start thinking, okay, put on my calendar, don't answer this person's call when it comes in. I'm just going to keep it casual and passive in their mind.
Okay. Very
All right.
good.
Good.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. We are coming up on the top of the hour. I don't see any other questions that we had chatted in. Alyssa, am I missing anything? If not, I think we're good. I got a couple of hands up. Let's go to David. We got a couple of minutes. So David, go ahead and unmute yourself. And Michelle, your hand is still up. I think I just didn't lower it. If you had another question, I'll call on you in a sec. David, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good.
So I'm kind of new to your to this group, I would say. I found out about it through another investor. He told me about all the leads. Because I'm doing mobile homes and parks. So I'm a full-time mobile home investor. But I'm trying to transfer over into regular real estate to the stick-built world. And from what I'm hearing, I'm not sure how true it is they say probates kind of are some of the best deals that you can do in real estate. So I wanted to have a company where I can get good information and try to get that going, because I tried to even reach out to some of the courthouses myself. I tried online. It's almost impossible. I'm here in New Jersey, by the way. I'm sorry if I didn't say where I'm from. I tried online, but you just can't do it. So I started calling the clerk of the county, or county of the clerk,
Mhm.
And they're telling me you have to physically go inside and go on a computer database and figure everything out. So I was trying
And
to
then you
just
got
weigh
to
my
figure out
options.
what their phone numbers are and what their
Yeah.
addresses are and who the heirs are and how to track them down. It can be done, but it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So when my another investor that I know of, he gave me, the contact to you guys. I started to look at the website. I looked at a couple YouTube videos and I was thinking I think this should be probably the way I should go. So I spoke with someone over the phone. You guys have very professional customer service, by the way, just being honest.
Thanks.
And I spoke with them. And I picked out a county and I was okay with the price that she gave me. My question really is, as far as people using your data, is it I'm trying to figure out, like, I guess the question would be what's their average result? Like I would say, like, per list, like if I were to purchase a list, is there like a certain average that most people get that they would close at least one deal out of the entire list that you get from the county?
Man, that is a good question. It has two answers.
Okay.
Okay. Ignore the average. Completely ignore the average, because this niche sees people come in and out on a monthly basis, and it's just like real estate. People decide they're going to be an investor, they decide they're going to be an agent, they don't do anything at all, and they leave a few months later.
Okay.
And pretty much everybody that quits, not with exceptions, okay, but almost everyone that quits, and I know we've got some people that are going to listen to this and be like, hey, you know what, that was me. They almost always say, hey, I'm not quitting because the list doesn't work. I'm quitting because I didn't do anything. I didn't put the work in, and I'll come back when I can put the work in. Okay. So this goes for everyone here. You gotta put the effort in, or spend the money to have somebody put the effort in for you. Okay. You can do that. You can do two things. There's a cost to both. You either put some money in, have the system work for you and you take the appointments or the hot leads, or you put some time in. And if you're willing to put the time in, then I'm going to tell you, market dependent, you're going to convert between 1.5% on the low end of a list and 5% on the high-ish end of a list. And I say high-ish, that's a great conversion rate, 5%. I know people that do better, and they're ballers. I mean, they are out there hustling. So I'm going to say that for the average person that puts the effort in, 1.5% to 5% conversion rate on any list that you work. But it's going to take 6-7 months to fill that pipeline up and start seeing those results.
Okay.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
and if you look in the chat, one of our ballers just said they've got 15 deals that they're working on right now, and they focus on this. Now they're also, it's right. So you're looking at it from a standpoint of being an investor, right? So if we look at the Pareto principle, right, 80-20 can also apply here. So not all of those are there's going to be folks that are looking to maximize their opportunity on the retail market, and they're looking to list their property. So there's some considerations that all need to come into play. If you're looking strictly for wholesale real estate, then it's going to be dependent on how many of those prospects want to dump and run and are looking to accept a wholesale offer.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And if you don't have a license, go partner with an agent that'll work this with you. They'll get their share, but maybe they'll share cost with you potentially. Or get a license and be able to offer both.
Yeah. You mean like a real estate license?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got you. Well,
Yep.
Thank you.
So John just said that has 15 deals in the works right now. He said that he about 10% of his sell off market, in other words, sell to an investor. Now, I would argue with John, just like myself and just like with Chuck, we typically steer people into the better solution of going with a listing. We're normally gonna steer people that way. And steering's a bad word, but we're not doing it illegally. We're ethically convincing them that that's their best route. If you leave it neutral, it's going to be a higher percentage that sell to an investor. They dump and run. So there's more than 10% of these that go to an investor. But when you're up against someone like myself, Chuck, John, we're usually going to show the person how they make more money by listing versus selling direct to us or wholesaling. Okay. But you're not up against us, so you'll be good. All right. So guys, I think that'll do it for today. We went a little bit long. I appreciate everyone being here. I want to particularly thank, I'm going to try my best to get Jim's closing. I don't know these things. It's been 3 years and I still haven't memorized his opening and closing, but I want to thank those of you that participated today. Challenge you to take one idea, one strategy that you learned and put it into practice, and come back next week and share your results with the group. See you guys next week.